y'all remember Jim Breuer? We talked about him a while ago. It's been a while. Jim Breuer calls himself, and that's the only way I'll describe this, he calls himself a comedian. And I was never familiar with him before, but I've heard from the audience that apparently in the past he was funny. Maybe he was on SNL. But then he took the red pill, he became MAGA, and it broke his ability to be funny. But we've seen these videos of him in front of MAGA crowds, and he's like, Fauci, You think I'm being dramatic. I didn't do it enough. Fauci. And the crowds are dying. There's not even a joke. It's just him moving around and making silly noises. And they're like, So apparently someone finds him funny. You know what? I respect that. If you can make someone laugh, then kudos to you. But apparently this is his humorous podcast. And he was really upset because we covered this. Tulsi Gabbard was doing her press conference and CNN cut her feed, cut to themselves, and said, all right, while she's talking, let's add some facts to what she's saying because she was spilling a lot of nonsense. And he was very upset they cut away from Tulsi's live feed, and that's what he's playing here. And then he just starts screaming at the CNN host for it. So let's watch. The context for this is Tulsi's proclamation that she uncovered evidence that Obama engaged in a quote-unquote treasonous conspiracy to frame Trump and lie about Russian meddling. And then over and over again, the documents that she was bringing up proved the opposite point and substantiated the argument we were making. But again, you can see my past content to understand that more thoroughly. Here's Jim Breuer being a funny guy.
Listen, not to what she's saying, but listen to how they interrupt and the words they use.
Released in the months leading up to the November 2016 election concluded that Russia had neither the intent nor capability to impact the outcome of the U.S. election.
Doesn't matter.
On December 5th.
We've been listening there to the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, continuing on what has now been a multi-day effort, not only with public statements like this, but release of documents to attempt to back up the quite extreme allegation.
In the attempt to give these extreme allegations, how do you not understand that is dipping in your mind and telling you what to think before you even have a moment to digest the situation? That is no different than I walk in and go, this person is attempting to give these outrageous allegations, and if you...
All right, I gotta take just a pause. I can't. It's just so brutal. Do you hear his producer laughing? Can I just... Jaden, can you look at me in the eyes and promise me that you're never laughing like how that guy's laughing? Please tell me you're never laughing because you're paid to.
That's a really hard watch.
Please.
No.
His producer's like, this is funny. Which, by the way, sorry, were you saying something?
Just like, no, that just ruined my day. No.
And he went, that would be like me going, he is making extreme allegations. Yeah, it would be like that because you literally just repeated what was said. You still haven't proven your point. You just repeated the words. Did you hear what he said? Extreme allegations. I don't even know how he does that. Is he drinking Pep? What the hell? Drinkpep.com, please. If you want to feel like Jim Breuer, I guess. And have the energy. Okay. Wow. This is my biggest fear, unraveling like this one day. And Jaden and Cole are just sitting and going, ha 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 ha. That was a good one. You made a really funny noise, Wook.
Stand this person, or you can't stand the other news. You're already all in. If I'm a liberal, I'm like, yeah, it's crazy allegations. It's just insane. That is called brainwashing. And if you're falling for it, you're being brainwashed. Listen to the words they use to manipulate your thoughts.
And then he plays it again off the microphone. So, hey, Jim, you can plug those suckers into your computer and get an original audio sound, you know? You can get it better. You don't have to push it onto your microphone. That's very old school. So I guess to address the substance, the reason why they described them as extreme allegations is because it's an allegation and it's extreme to say that the former president engaged in a treason. Why don't you go, a treasonous conspiracy? Listen to the words she's saying. Why would she come out and say, she's telling us what? You know what's so funny? I'm going to try not to scream like him, but what's so funny is it's the opposite point. Tulsi going out is doing exactly what he's saying, which is Obama. She goes, Obama engaged in a treasonous conspiracy. We have the document right here, but don't worry about it. Don't read it. And what he did was he fabricated intelligence. Don't check the document, but trust me, it's there. Well, but let me read you one quote. The rest of that's you don't worry about it. The rest of the sentence says the thing about what I'm saying. And so you should believe that Obama's guilty of treason for something that her documentation doesn't at all substantiate. And you're supposed to just take, so like that's exactly what he's accusing CNN of doing, which is sort of not allowing you to examine the substance of the claim, but just summarizing the claim for you and hoping that you'll take it as gospel, which is not, in their case, they were going, okay, she's now talking for numerous minutes, making tons of huge claims. We have a journalistic obligation to jump in and go, all right, let's start breaking apart these claims. And they did. They had their fact checker, Daniel Dale, on, who went through, because she posted her supposed evidence. And like we did on the show, it proves Obama didn't do any of the things they're saying. And it again reaffirms that there was this Russian meddling in the 2016 election. Okay, let's see. How does this end?
To the words they use. Are you ready? This is mind control.
Russia had neither the intent nor
right now, someone's going, you need to interrupt the program. They're not reporters. CNN is not reporters. None of these news networks are
nude networks?
Not reporters. None of these news networks are reporting. They're telling you what to think.
Wow. Powerful stuff there, Jim. Powerful stuff. Now, I'll show you when the facts are able to be debated what happens, where legal analyst Ellie Honig was on CNN with someone trying to defend these, and it didn't go well.
Attorney General.
For her. Whoa, what the heck? What the hell?
Ordering prosecutors to start a grand jury investigation into the Obama administration, alleging officials made up intelligence about Russia's links to the 2016 election. Remember, a bipartisan Senate Intelligence Committee reviewed this and found no conspiracy. John Durham, the special counsel appointed by Trump, also reviewed this for 3 years and found no conspiracy. But of course, it's also worth noting that Pam Bondi has been under fire for weeks now by the right and the left, trying to close the book on Jeffrey Epstein. Joining us now at the table, CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig. He is a former federal prosecutor. So Ellie, a grand jury investigation into what?
Well, so that's my question. I know I'm here to answer questions. What's the crime? I mean, what's even the potential crime? Seriously, I mean, I'm not trying to be confrontational here. Can anyone at this table even articulate what the potential crime might be?
I mean, election interference, manufactured intelligence,
not a crime, not a crime.
Of
You're
voter
0 for 2.
rights,
Not a crime.
obstruction of justice.
Ellie, I don't see Ellie like this too often. You're 0 for 2. Yes, Ellie. I love sassy Ellie. Please do click the subscribe button, as we appreciate through the show. If you appreciate the show as we continue through it. My words are falling apart. I just can't stop hearing Fauci. Maybe I'll find that clip while we continue through this. It's something.
I might be.
I mean, election interference, manufactured intelligence,
not a crime, not a crime.
Of
You're 0 for
voter
2.
rights,
Not a crime.
obstruction of justice.
You've said a crime now. What is obstruction of justice?
And anything the grand jury says it is.
No, and to that point, let me further say with this.
Most of these crimes have a statute of limitation of 5 years.
There you go. That's where I was going next.
So that's
right?
the problem.
I mean, this is ancient history legally, right? The statute of limitations on almost every federal crime is 5 years. This stuff was 9 years ago.
There's an ongoing conspiracy, and so that could
Sure. If there's an ongoing conspiracy that stretches into 5 years ago, then you would not have a statute of limitations problem. crimes that Tulsi Gabbard has articulated, I don't know if she's a lawyer, she's definitely not at the Justice Department, are what, treason and sedition. I mean, that means trying to overthrow the government and waging war against the United States. We are so far out.
Yeah, do you have it? Okay, I have it too, but hopefully this is the one I was thinking of. This is what's causing my brain to just Control-Alt-Delete. Here's Jim.
Vaccinators, you were real cocky a couple months ago. You got vaccinated. Got my second shot April 19th. I can't get sick from the corona. I'm vaccinated. See this bucket of virus? I'm vaccinated. I'll even lick metal. I'm not afraid of anything. I don't have to wear a mask. People vaccinated are getting sick. What? You need a new booster. What? Who wants a shot? Who wants to see a ball game? Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Wave your flipper. That's for you. Go see the ball game. Who wants to work again? That's for you. Who wants their kids educated? What's in the shot? It's safe. Don't worry.
Okay. So that wasn't the one where he's like going around stage like a bird being like, Fauci, Fauci. But that gives you a sense of it. You know what's so funny about, again, he's saying cocky. Y'all are the ones who are so cocky. The vaccine saved millions of lives. And it did prevent people from serious illness, hospitalizations, dying. It did prevent millions of people from that. So even the joke isn't even based in fact, shockingly. But then upon discussing this same issue, Ted Cruz made a claim that cracked me up.
And I think the entire Obama team was complicit in this. You know, you look at the Biden presidency, you know, the single most frequent question I would get, who's running things? And here's the terrifying answer. I don't really know. I can tell you in 4 years that Joe Biden was president, you know how many times I spoke with him?
No, you didn't speak to him at all.
Not once.
Wow.
Hey, say what you will about Joe Biden. That makes me like him actually more. Say what you will about, I of course saw the distressing signs of his aging and believe a part of the effective governance was because other people around him were doing a lot of stuff like every president, but maybe to an even more severe degree. And whatever cognitive was going on still went Ted Cruz, dick, okay? Biden was coherent enough to see Ted and be like, no thanks.
These are the kind of guys you like to smack in the ass.
Kevin McCarthy tells this story of, what the hell? I went to the White House and Joe Biden was cognitively impaired. And I was like, what do you mean? Tell me. And he's like, he took me into the side room out of the White House. He had a different room than out of the Oval Office. He had a different room than the Oval Office that he would actually work in. It's like, that's how every single president is, but okay. And he had cookies and he gave us cookies. Ted, Joe was giving Demented Joe, whatever, was giving Kevin McCarthy cookies, and he knew not to give you a cookie. Okay, so he at least had enough going on upstairs to realize that nobody likes Ted Cruz. Wasn't it Lindsey Graham who said, is this like a wives' tale's not the right phrase? And I think that's out, but is this just a myth that Lindsey Graham, it was reported that he said if Ted Cruz was murdered on the Senate floor and all the senators were there would be no witnesses. Yeah. So Joe Biden remembered that from his Senate days. As I said, this guy says Cruz wasn't there. He's there. I said, wow. If I saw you got killed, I'd smack in the ass. He died. I said, I wasn't see anything. This is just a bonus little clip just on the CNN panel where this MAGA pundit, I'm blanking on her name again, but she comes up on the show every once in a while, goes, why is no one, okay, fine, maybe you don't think that Obama should be arrested, but why is no one thanking Trump for bringing in $100 billion of tariff revenue?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that like half the Democrats are out here saying like the Republicans are cheating, and the other half are saying, wait a minute, we need to do it too. If you're doing it, we're going to do it too.
Adam Kinzinger, before we came on with John King at 8 o'clock.
Wait a minute. Did I play you the wrong clip? Take that down for a second. I played you the wrong clip. Dang it. Oh no, this is bad. I'm not stalling. Okay, I can't find it. Whatever. Then somebody went, oh yeah, well, who pays the tariffs? She's like, the countries. So not the greatest thing to brag about. What a beautiful way to end that segment on a total botch. Thank you. Share your thoughts in the comments.